Coors Light. Now, here's your host, Bobby Curran on ESPN 1420 and the Sideline Hawaii app.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. Our Tuesday edition of Call the Coach with 6-1 head coach Nick Rolovich. We thank you for coming. Rolo, that was the lowest scoring game of the year. I thought it was one of the most exciting, entertaining, loudest games. And I'm going to say that was the best defensive performance I've seen from a Hawaii team in 5-6 years.
Really? That long?
I think,
They deserve it. They played really well.
Take a look at 244 yards and 2 field in this modern day of college football. It's unheard of.
It's hard to do. They deserved it. It's probably good for the rest of our season to, like I said, have the defense carry us through a game. And it's they've gone through some tough offenses and stood in there and didn't complain, didn't whine, and just kept fighting, and it's good for them to have some success.
Well, it was a huge win because it kept you undefeated in conference. It put you within one game of bowl eligibility, which I know is not the ultimate goal, but it's certainly one of the team goals for the year. And I think everybody on that team's got to feel good about themselves. And I want to give credit. I don't know if people realize, for a kid to come in and make his first collegiate snaps at quarterback against the team that probably has 3 NFL guys on their defense is pretty remarkable.
They have a really good defense, and that wasn't an easy situation. And probably top to bottom, the best defensive that we've played this year. You know, I thought everyone had some good players, but they were pretty sound and played really hard and did some things schematically that caused us some issues. And I think Shevin learned from his interception. I think, the last play of the game could have been. They tried to bait him into a quick throw, and that's why you see him pump fake. And then he sprinted out and made an unbelievable play. But I think he learned throughout the game. I thought Stutz, Cole, Colney, and Musa, those guys were kind of like his little support system on the sideline and really kind of talked to Shev about what they were seeing and what we were doing. So it was a real good environment on the sideline for him, too.
Well, it was so much fun to watch. I thought that play, by the way, I read that JoJo Ward, confident about his leaping ability.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Well, he's a short guy.
He said, yeah. He goes, but I can really jump. He goes, I can dunk. I thought, for 5'9", that's pretty good.
He gets up there.
No doubt.
Yep.
And he was forearm above that defensive back.
Well, he tracks the ball really well.
Yeah.
And he's got really, really good hands for a shorter guy. And, I mean, real natural hands that you like watching him catch the ball. He does it so easily.
Well, we want to get before I get any further. Rolo came with a few guys today.
Yeah, this is spice this party up.
Maybe I thought we could. Maybe can you introduce them for us?
Sure. We have a few guys had class, but we are in the presence of Mr. Genta Ito. Genta. Next to Genta, Melvin Davis right here. You got Freddie Hawley. Freddie, show off your tattoo.
And is that the Manapua truck? There he is.
The fruit train made a stop in Wanalua. Nate Peruta. I'm sure glad that's catching on.
Oh, yeah, it really is. Veneri started calling him the Manapua truck.
Oh, he did?
Oh, yeah, that was a hoot because that's one hard man to tackle.
Well, they all got different skill sets, and sometimes it's hard to get them all the carries that they deserve. But, you got Miles Reed, who's also very different. And
Elijah Dale has been getting some action
Elijah
as well.
Dale gets his couple touches, but they all have different skill sets. The thing that gets hard at this position is there's not a lot of reps for everyone to get, and I think what Coach Smith and these guys have done is have really bought into their group, and you see them really supporting each other. So I think that's part of the positivity that kind of spreads out throughout the team.
I was going to say, it seems to be a feature at every position group almost on this team. I mean, I think I see a lot of guys supporting each other as opposed to, in some teams, guys are carping, to be playing more. I mean, guys understand that you got to sublimate to the team. I mean, what's it about?
And it's not easy to do, especially I think this generation has, they have so much flying at them, it's hard for them to really come down and get to those core values, especially with all the distractions. But this team has done a nice job and really worried about the correct qualities that we want to have to win football games.
You know, I know that for you, it's particularly for a guy who played quarterback in this system and who understands it inside and out. I'm sure there's frustrations when there's a struggle. Or
yeah.
when you go through a quarter or a quarter and a half where it's not working
smooth. 17
smooth.
points.
Yeah,
I
mean, that 17 points is not something that's really in your
No,
I'm
so happy we won, and I'm happy. I'm plenty okay with the way we won. I just know that we can be better than that offensively.
Well, and you got another opportunity in Provo.
Mm-hmm.
I've always talked about kind of the big linebackers of Wyoming. I had two guys that were 6 feet 248, and the other guy's 6'2", 250, and I thought they might get themselves in trouble. We certainly saw BYU teams that you played against that played those kind of linebackers, and it led to trouble for them.
And it really forces our slots, most part, to really work on their release technique versus a bigger body, because if they get their hand on you, they can really disrupt the route. So that happened to us a few times, but they're I think those guys, well, first I think Scotty Hazelton's a hell of a DC, and some of the things they did in that game, they hadn't shown, and that's not new for us because people don't usually play a 10-personnel team all game, but I thought they did a real nice job scouting us, and, we did some things with Dakota to, give not that Chevin couldn't handle it all, but we probably would have done it if Cole played too, but we wanted to be able to run the ball with, using Dakota's strength, his size, hit on the perimeter. We did a couple things. So we're just trying to get creative with the guys we have. We have a lot of guys that can contribute.
Let me get to the traveling this week. There was a time when I thought this might be the toughest of your road games. I've changed my thought on that simply because BYU is still in the process of changing some things. They're moving some people around. They haven't gotten the productivity at some spots that they wanted. I mean, this is a team that beat Wisconsin on the road. That's no mean feat. I think anybody who follows college football knows. But they were not as competitive against the University of Washington.
Which is hard to do.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's hard. But then I think the one that really kills people in Provo is to get boat raced by Utah State. That's not acceptable there.
The in-state stuff, that's important there. Again, I don't think there's a lot of people looking to play Utah State right now, but
true.
Because they're playing really good football, offensively and defensively. So we know we're going to have a challenge. They've lost two tough ones. I don't know if the rivalry means the same to them as it means to us, but I know what it means to us. And just hearing some of the alumni, whether it's here or whether it's just on the street, this one's important to us. We know that.
Well, I'm just feeling like Hawaii's never won in Provo. I don't know if it irritates anybody on the team or any of the coaching staff. I'll tell you, it does me when I see BYU installed as a 14-point favorite. I don't know if guys take it this way. I kind of look at that as that's not very respectful of a team that's 6-1. It's my opinion. That's what I think. Do you share some of that?
I don't know if that's as much of a motivating factor for our team as much as being chosen for homecoming.
Yeah, that's more. 3 road games in a row.
I think that one, just on a, you take the gambling out of it, just on a flat respect level, I think homecoming, brings a little extra juice to this one. Maybe I'll stop in and bring a prom dress or something.
There you go. I kind of like it. We're providing. We're going to provide your queen of the
or a corsage.
Your homecoming queen. Yeah. Okay, we're getting a couple of texts. Let's start this party off with these. Could the success or failure of the UH offense Saturday be attributed to Cordero's inexperience or height or lack thereof?
No.
Yeah. Good answer.
I don't think so. I think I think it's a decent question. Part of it is seeing how Chevin's going to play in a game, and not only Chevin getting used to that, but the coach is getting used to calling things he likes. And I understand the numbers were down, but the kid, for the most part, did everything he was supposed to do. The interception, I know we can all point to that, but other than that, he didn't make a whole lot of real
no major errors.
Mistakes,
yeah.
No.
Okay, here's the other question.
What I don't like is our yard per completion is going down the last 3 weeks, and I think that's hurting our explosiveness and our be able to put points on the board quickly.
Do you have when you plan this out, obviously quarterbacks have kind of a progression. They're looking to see where it's open. So I suppose it's partly dictated by what the defense is giving. Do you ever say, okay, I don't care, we're going to stretch this field. We're going to throw a deep one because I don't want those safeties creeping?
And yeah, I mean, we do that, but I don't think the safeties were necessarily creeping.
The problem?
You know what I mean? We saw Rice start to stay real high on us. Then San Jose did very similar stuff. Maybe it was Duquesne who did it the first time. I don't know, but or Army. We've got a real high coverage, and we have to take advantage of some of the underneath stuff. But that's where some of the rerouting and we got to be able to attack zones in a positive way, even if we can't get deep.
Okay, and then this is an interesting question. Yeah. I'll just read it as it sits. Any future plans to incorporate designed rollouts or RPOs?
Well, we can go. What's interesting about the last play of the game, and I mean offensively, JoJo's touchdown from Shevin. Seen a bunch about him breaking a tackle and breaking the pocket. The interesting story is we're coming out of a timeout. We had a different play called, and Weber actually mentioned it to everybody in the huddle. He said, "Hey, maybe can we move the pocket here?" And so, if we want to be honest, Coach Weber probably called the game-winning touchdown pass. An old line coach. No, he just wanted to get the pocket moving and kind of have those edge rushers have a little different look, and it was a good idea. And then he got outside of it and made the great throw. Okay,
I didn't even realize. I apologize to our callers who were on hold. I didn't see this sheet. I missed it. But we are going to take them as soon as we come back from this timeout. We are at Ruby Tuesdays, and this is Call the Coach.
Back to Call the Coach, brought to you in part by No Foods of Hawaii and the HGEA on ESPN 1420.
Now Ferruccia moves to the right side of Cordero. And now he fakes, and he's in trouble, but he's got to get away. He's throwing a deep ball. Has JoJo Ward. Touchdown, Hawaii! Oh, man!
That was a play to remember. And I remember as soon as I saw that JoJo Ward had a step.
Yeah.
And it wasn't more than that. No. It was a step. And I thought, is he possibly going to be able to go up and get it? And can he hang on? And the answer to both questions was yes.
He went up and he grabbed it and he snatched it away and protected it.
No,
if you saw
it was really a terrific
and we worked that every day. So
let's get to the phones. Thank you for your patience, guys. Let's start with Paul. Hey, Paul.
Oh, hey, Bobby, and hey, Coach, how you doing?
Hi, Paul.
Thanks for taking my call. How you doing?
Good.
Great game. I know there was an issue this week regarding that individual wearing the Cordero jersey during practice. I just wanted to say, if you start getting heat about that, just tell them, hey, it's Halloween, man. Everybody want to be Cole McDonald for Halloween, man. And so, that's for you to use. And
okay.
I almost need to mention this, is that there's a segment of the population, the Hawaii fan population, they're aging, like my dad. He can't go to the games as much as he wants to. And I was talking to people this week. I'm not the only one with this problem, so I stay at home with him. Sorry, Bob, I get the pay-per-view, but I listen to your play-by-play, of course, as you know. So I was just saying, I'm not looking for a solution or trying to be negative or anything, but, I don't know if you ever get in conversation with Lower Campus about the attendance. Yes, the younger sets should be going to games, but there is that population that those fans who supported the Hawaii in the 70s and 80s because of age, they can't get to the stadium easily. Like I said, I'm not looking for a solution, but I know it's an issue. Attendance is an issue, but I don't know. I guess we just got to keep that in mind. I know I'm going to try to go to the stadium to see you guys as much as I can. I was there on Saturday, and I just wanted to thank you for listening to me for this. I know it's a different topic than what you listen to, and I'll just listen to your comments off the air. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul. Let's. We have another. Go ahead. You want to respond? Go ahead.
We'll talk. I'm sure we'll see. Let's see what Miles got.
Okay, Miles, fire away. You're on with Coach Rolo.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you, Miles.
And to your whole team. And it was a good game, Coach. And keep up the good work and good luck in the BYU. And I hope you guys win by 20 points off BYU and win and we'll be going to the bowl game.
There you go, Miles. There you go.
Appreciate it, Miles. If you have something, call us 296-1420 is the number. I asked the same question of Corey Batoon, and I thought I will ask you the same, a very similar question. I asked him, could he characterize the BYU offense? And he kind of did. He talked a little bit about the things they do. They're unbelievably people talk about balance. Mm-hmm. They've thrown it 189 times and run it 190 times. I mean, that's pretty unusual.
Pretty close.
Let's get to asking you to characterize the defense. I mean, what do you see? What is BYU showing on tape? What do they look like defensively?
Well, the first guy that's going to stand out is the Kafusi kid at number 90. I think he's 6'9", 280 pounds or something like that. He's blocked a couple kicks this year. They kind of line him up all over. Obviously, he's a big man, so getting over him with throws is going to be difficult, but he's also long, and he plays very hard. You know, you'll see him chase. I mean, he looks different than everybody else on the field just by his size. But I think, you know, number 38, number 16, those two linebackers, I think they run around and are physical. They're going to be different body types. 16, there's a long kid who's got some twitch and can rush to the passer. 38, more of that Mike Backer who kind of is physical type guy. Yeah, good tackler. But no, they play hard. They play hard, and up front they're going to be big. They're not a heavy pressure team. You know, they kind of play what they play, and we'll just be ready for their plans for us when we get there in Provo.
Mostly rush 4. I mean, that's their thing. They're not
sometimes 3.
Really?
Sometimes 3.
But not 5 or 6 very often.
Not very often 6. Sometimes you get some 5, but probably the least pressuring team that we've seen this year if you went by the numbers of their tendencies this year.
All right. Now, there were people, obviously, and I don't know where you are on this one. I was told today that Cole McDonald practiced.
He practiced.
Great to see him back. And,
yeah.
You know, and whenever a kid is injured, you always want him to be able to get healthy quickly.
Right.
I mean, beyond the playing part.
No.
I mean, just to be, you know, you hate to see a kid get injured. And I'm glad to hear he's back. He strikes me as a fairly tough kid.
He is a tough kid.
You know, he takes it. He doesn't show it.
No, he's not looking for the first way out of a practice or a game. You know, that hurt him not to be there for his team. But you know, his support of Shevin, I think he understands what the mission is, and we're putting that first.
All right. And now it seems to me that you're in a better place this week than you were last week, because now you've got proof, if you needed it, that you have at least 2 guys who can play. I'm inclined to think you might have more than that, but you got 2 for sure.
Well, 2 guys that have won football games for us, and it is good. And I know, you know, I said that early in training camp or right before the season, but I really believe that we could. And Colney Castle's another guy who's he just runs the offense. He's probably doesn't do anything flashy, but very understands it conceptually and has good timing. So there's some good depth in our quarterback room.
In terms of some of the positions, I know that you were a little short-handed when Cheyenne Sanitoa was nicked up.
Well, you know, he hurts a lot. He's making an incredible impact on special teams, and he's doing all the right things off the field, you know, and he's almost like an inspirational guy now from where, you know, he just didn't know early on in his career, wasn't sure who he was, what position he was playing, and now he's really got a fun role on the team, and people look up to him.
And let's hope that he'll be able to come back quickly and be able to play for you.
Yeah.
Are you expecting that kind of, or is it sort of up in the air?
His is kind of up in the air. You know, you talk about Cheyenne, but you got to talk about a guy, Panay. Panay, you know, not just what he does on the fields, but what he does to bring the players, you know, in the right direction, just in every day of their life. You know, I think he was a big impact on or influence on Cheyenne.
I saw an article recently, because these are guys that both the guys we're talking about are from American Samoa, and one of them is from Pongo Pongo. I think that's Pavihi.
Mm-hmm.
And the other guy's from, I guess, a different part of the island. I don't even know. Fongatogo? Is that right? Do I say that?
That's
right?
Cheyenne, yep.
Yeah, so I mean, and when guys come over, I don't know if you saw the article in the paper, there was one about how a number of American college football teams are looking to put money into the facilities in American Samoa because
I didn't see that.
These kids, it's some mainland group. I saw it in the Sunday paper. But I don't know if people realize that the kids who are born and raised and play in American, it's very rudimentary. I mean, I'm hearing guys tell the story. They're not kidding. They're talking about rocks on the fields. I mean, an American kid, I don't know you can get most American kids out on the field.
I'll tell you a funny story. So we've offered a kid down there, and his coach was visiting us, and, the huddle, they don't use huddle. There's a Facebook group that does a lot of the video for the Samoan high school students and the athletes. So the coach had brought some on his Apple computer. So he's showing them to me, and the kid's a good player. And he says, but look here, this is where he got hurt. He makes an unbelievable play. He's running out of bounds. He's like, yeah, he fell on a rock over there. And the kid just gets up. He dusts it off.
I guess if that's what you grew up with, you don't know anything else.
No.
But they must think this, when they come and see the grass practice fields for the first time, they must think, oh, this is soft.
Most of them do. Well, just how many benefits they have for being a Division I player, the gear, the shoes, the food, the housing, all that stuff for going to school and playing football. They really have a great appreciation for it.
Which is terrific because I think there's a lot of young players in the United States that don't have that appreciation. I think especially at the higher end, there's a real sense of entitlement. But it must be refreshing to get kids on who are appreciating every part they get.
It's beautiful, and it's evident in the way they play. They play the game, again, for the right reason. They play it the right way. There's not a step Cheyenne takes that's not with a complete and 100% effort that he's going to do not only the right thing, but as hard as he can.
It's kind of fun to talk about some of those guys. I wanted to talk about someone else too because every year you get certain players that you really. I mean, one of them is here because I love watching Dayton Ferruta play football. He's just a tough guy. It's almost impossible to send him backwards. He blocks. He does. The guy, though, on the defensive side that I can't take my eyes off is Kaimana Padilla.
Yeah, it's hard.
I mean, it's unbelievable to me that a guy at that size has just not listened to everybody his whole life. Who told him he's too small. He can't play varsity at Mililani, and then forget college. You can't play at this level. Well, he's playing at this level, and he makes a difference.
And he's playing well. He's playing well at this level, and he's got some numbers to back it up. And it's someone that I know the University of Hawaii football program will point to when he's gone, being, he will be a guy. He's a lesson to some of the guys that have more talent that maybe aren't using it the way they should. He's going to be one of those guys that we all point to in the next decade. Hey, you remember Kaimana? He wouldn't have done that.
No.
Those things like that.
6 feet, by the way, defensive end at Division I level, FBS 6 feet 215. That's a crazy statistic.
Yeah.
I mean, you were just talking about the D end from BYU who's 6'9", 275. How about 6 feet 215? I think you mentioned one of the coaches said, "Really, this guy's gonna play D end."
I remember Corey Batoon saying that. So and I said, "Yeah, just watch."
He knows now.
Just watch. Well, you go through spring, and Corey has Corey is a true purist when it comes to football. It's not any of the nonsense. It's play hard, do the right thing. Continue to get better. Take the coaching. So I think Kaimana fits all those categories, and Corey has a lot of respect for him, especially now.
When we had him this morning, I had to say this.
Corey.
Corey's starting to sound. He is starting to sound and even almost look more like Aranda every day. Have you noticed that? Some of his speech mannerisms are very Dave Aranda.
Yeah. Yes.
He starts coming up with the little wry humorous things. Though he's gone completely around the bend.
BYU's OC, right, is from LSU. So
which one?
BYU.
Ah.
So they're doing some of the jet sweep stuff and
Interesting.
some of the stuff we went down there. We studied that last year. We went down a couple of guys.
We got Cam on the line. Hey, Cam.
You know, in the closing minutes of the game, will you guys just do you hurry up the offense? Because, you know, we had like 4 minutes to go, and the guys were just walking up to the line before the play was run, and the clock was ticking. So I noticed, you know, there was an essence of urgency. And number two, that tight end from San Jose. Would you be interested in recruiting a big guy like that to be a wide receiver or a slot back for your team? And I'll take your answer off the air.
Okay. What was his name?
That fellow's name?
Cam?
Yes, Cam.
Cam, I would agree with you. There was getting to a point, I don't think you need to start the drive with 4 minutes left. That was probably going to be our last drive. You know, maybe there wasn't enough sense of urgency, but we were about to kick it into real high-level gear because we were getting into that minute 30. You know, we still had 2 timeouts, but, you know, maybe there could have been a little bit more urgency. I don't know. I'm just happy we won. But, and yes, a player like that, I think we could find a role with. I'm talking about the San Jose tight end. I think he could, you know, if Salas.
Talking about Josh Oliver.
Yeah, Salas can be a big slot. I mean, there's a lot of things. You're seeing Dakota do some good things for us, but no, that we're not against big and fast.
Yeah, no. I get that. I kind of agreed with that caller about it because we mentioned it even that it didn't seem like some of the guys were getting up to the huddle in a hurry or getting to the line of scrimmage in a hurry. And counting, I'm saying, well, it's 10, 15 seconds that's kind of going by the board. However, after the touchdown, boy, was I glad there wasn't more time left. I mean, let's face it, it's one of those swords that cuts both ways. Because if you want to have them as little time as possible to have the football after that. We have to take a quick timeout. We are at Ruby Tuesdays, and this is Call the Coach.
You're listening to Call the Coach, presented by Coors Light on ESPN 1420 and the Sideline Hawaii app.
Welcome back to Ruby Tuesday, Moana Loa, and we're going to talk a little bit about, we got a couple of people that have texted in some questions for Rolo. This is a good one. We had a play that we wanted to run for you. We'll see if we can't get it in a minute on the next break perhaps. Any chance Justice Algafa gets in some offensive plays?
Yes, he's played a little bit as far as when we got into some empty during the season. You know, Justice is a guy who, obviously, we saw his ability on the punt return. Even the punt return that got called back at San Jose, I thought he did some great things on that one. This one was really impressive. But you talk about a kid who has put everything aside and really committed to being the best football player he could be, and he's seeing results on the field. I think he just needed some time to acclimate to college, and you know, he knows inside receiver, he knows outside receiver. He could probably be a running back, but as you see, you know, the running back room has a bunch of talented guys. So he's kind of in a Swiss Army knife kind of role. But punt return is great for him, and I think he's definitely prepared to play if we need him.
Well, everybody loves seeing him because he's done that punt return was one of the best I've seen in a long time. I counted seven broken tackles. Who does that? It's crazy. Okay, Coach Rolo, we have a 12th man on defense, the fans. At the end of the game, any thoughts?
Loud thoughts. That was unbelievable. And we heard players talk about that. You know, when maybe 3 years ago we got back, we talked about, you know, Aloha Stadium, what it is when people are just screaming and you can barely hear. And some of them said, Coach, that was what you were talking about, how loud they were at the end of the game. It was very reminiscent for myself and some of the other coaches, but it was something that our players will never forget. Or, you know, all the kids that came with Marcus's foundation will never forget. I mean, the energy in that building that night at the end of the game was, you know, I think it started on JoJo's touchdown and just continued all the way through that last defensive drive, and were a definite part of winning that football game. the false start.
I was going to say, I thought that false start was the fans.
Of course
it was too loud.
Yeah, it was. It was too loud, and Kai Montepadello, like this chair is staring at him, and he can't hear, and this short little guy's going to come get another sack, and he's freaked out.
All right, hey, Coach, in the red zone, this is from Aaron from Cunilla, but I'm going to rephrase this question. I think I know what he means. Hey, Coach, in the red zone, could you add the back shoulder throw?
Yes, and we've I don't know if we've thrown it this year in the red zone, but yeah.
But you have thrown it because Marcus Armstrong Brown's caught a couple.
Marcus caught one at UMass, I remember. That was pretty good. But he's speaking of Marcus, this is a kid who, I think is, I don't want to say buying in. I want to see it. We had a alumni come by and talk about leaving your legacy, and I think Marcus really wants to leave this place on a positive note and doing something as best as he can, and he's becoming a bigger contributor offensively.
Well, let me get to another caller. We got Mike on the line. Mike, you're on with Coach Rolo.
Hi, Coach Rolo.
Yes, Mike.
Hi.
Hi.
Coach, thanks for bringing back the run and shoot to the Lost Stadium. It's brought a lot of excitement back to Hawaii. And, I have some ideas that might add even more spice to the game. You got a little time? A minute.
I like spice.
Okay. Convert 6'8" offensive lineman Ernest Moore into a field goal blocking machine. He's big, and he looks like a jumper.
Got it.
Bring back the power wishbone with Kaipi Chung and Dayton Peruta as halfbacks in the backfield. You always love to see opponents get run over. It's exciting.
Wishbone check.
Yeah.
Got it.
Find another Rigo Sanchez. Touchbacks will put a stop to any more track beats that ensue after a kickoff.
Okay, find Rigo.
Yeah. Let's get a mascot. Maybe a big, soft, loud, scary Hawaiian guy. Spinning up paradise. But no marshmallow mascot, okay?
Got it.
And let's see. Let it be known to the D and special teams that a fumbled football is not a grenade. If you see one, jump on it quickly. Recovering fumbles is exciting to you,
Okay.
And you got two Podellos.
I know.
Both at the same time.
Thank you, Mike.
And while you have the Podellos, have them rush the punter too. And then my final ask: beat BYU and get bowl qualified.
Okay, I'm going to start there if you don't mind before I work on all these other ones. But good idea, and the passion from the fan base is, and I know there's a lot of things people would like to help and see better, but it's your passion that's really kind of helping push, I think, UH football into a positive light for a lot of people, not only on island, but in the state and on the mainland. So appreciate you, Mike.
Thank you for the call, Mike. Here's another one. I think this is why I think I know what you're going to say to this one. During the last timeout before the touchdown, what did you tell Shevin to keep him calm?
You don't really have to tell him anything. Yeah. We were going to take a shot down the left sideline with Marcus Armstrong Brown, and like I said earlier, we had just taken like a 2 or 3 yard sack, and that would have that play would have called for us to hold on to the ball a little bit longer. Coach Webb said, "Hey, what about moving the pocket?" Everyone seemed to like that. Shevin was comfortable with it. He throws well on the run. He likes being a little bit off script, so that was kind of the deal. We had a quick throw, and then he was going to move the pocket and sprint out to the right, and I guess the rest is history.
Oh man, was it? That was a play, and that will go down, I think, as one of the big plays of this season.
I like that end zone.
Yes,
I like that end zone. So we were coming out at halftime. Usually I ask Govey, I say, hey, which way, is he kicking better one way or the other is a win? But that hasn't done much for us. So I said, if this goes down to the fourth quarter game, I want to go to that end zone. And I don't know why. I just had a feeling that's the end zone. We threw one to Ashley in.
I was just going to say, I remember Ashley catching one from you.
And Ashley actually put it on Twitter. He said, that reminds me of 2001 Fresno State.
Very
same
cool.
Corner.
Very cool. Let me get to a couple of things on. One of the things that was interesting, because we've been charting this, and I have to tell you, this is everybody. I've been watching the games on Saturdays before we go to the stadium. I'm kind of coming. I've revised my thought on this one because I used to think why do people kind of do the Kenny Niumato fair catch everything and take it to the 25? But I'm now kind of revising that to anything I think on the goal line or in the end zone. Unless I absolutely
I'm fighting it a
have
little bit.
to make something happen.
Yeah.
I know there are times when you do.
There are times where
and you have a guy that
can.
can. So I get the temptation, but if you look nationally,
the numbers are still, you should fair catch them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. In the end, I think that you could even say inside the 5 is marginal. I don't think taking it at the 10 or the 15, then I'd absolutely try to advance it because you can beat the 25. But it's hard to do it from the end zone.
Thank you.
Doesn't happen all that often.
No.
And you guys do sometimes.
We
if
take
it's 3 or 4 yards deep, you guys
but there's also times where you say, okay, let's kick a couple, let's fair catch some, let's see what they're doing on kickoff team. How does our scheme match up to what they're showing? Let's catch boom, and then we can hit one if we feel like we get a good matchup. But I know.
You're back and forth on it a little bit.
I know. But you see what Justice does on punt return.
Yeah, you do.
And you're like, especially like if you need a play, it's like Justice. Okay, let's bring this one out. Let's see if we can make something pop. But time for a break.
Yeah,
usually my
Rolo's getting this figured out. It is time for a break. We'll take it. Be right back. And Ruby Tuesday. This is Call the Coach.
Back to Call the Coach, brought to you in part by No Foods of Hawaii and the HGEA on ESPN 1420.
And he is going to sidewind it. It's a bit of a line drive. It'll be taken by Algalfa. He's got some room. And Algalfa spins out of one tackle, spins out of a second one. He's going, and he's upfield. He's at midfield. He's at the 45, still in speed to the 40, to the 35-yard line. That is the best return we've seen all year.
Well done. Well done.
The Justice Algalfa, tremendous punt return in the game. What a difference a special teams play can make in terms of just getting everybody amped.
That's right.
It's such a
the momentum that can happen on special teams is, and I think that's what you fight, that fair catch thing, right?
Right.
Is this we're going to catch lightning in a bottle, we're going to pop a big one, and then the whole momentum's going to change.
Right.
That's the thing that's hard to fight.
The thing that's hard, though, is you get it to the 22 and there's a flag, and they're telling you you're going back to the 11.
Right.
I mean, this is why some people, like Kenny, is just taking it. Well, it doesn't matter. He's taking. I mean, of course, he doesn't have an electric guy.
I think it probably doesn't bother us as much because we're not in that field position game. We don't. And ever since playing for Coach Jones, that was our mindset. All right, just give us the ball. We're just going to go. But that game last night, 2 nights ago, that was a little bit of a field position game. You saw fields getting flipped and punts, and I wish we were more explosive, but that ended up turning into one of those games.
Let's get to a couple of callers. We got Rick on the line. Hey, Rick.
Hey, Coach Bobby and everybody at Ruby Tuesday.
Hello, Rick.
Congratulations, but I was wondering, I haven't seen you run, what is that, the shuttle, whatever?
Shovel pass,
yeah. Is there a reason why?
We tried. We lost 2 yards on it. I don't know.
Okay, because I figured with the rush coming in, but...
We probably ran it too early in the game. We ran it on the third play of the game, I think.
Bring it out again and try it again, because especially with fruit roll, man. Fruit roll up on everybody. But Coach, I got one more question for you.
Okay.
Since you've been back home,
yes.
Have you been out to Dukes? Because I remember in your playing days, I used to see you at Dukes on Sundays partying like a rock star.
I would get lost. I was trying to find my way. I was trying to explore Hawaii a little bit, Rick.
That's a good place to get lost, though. You got to get lost.
Congratulations, Coach. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Rick.
All right, we got Jason on the line. Hey, Jason, you're on with Coach Rolo.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Bobby. Coach, thank you so much for choosing Hawaii.
Well, thank you, Jason. It wasn't that hard.
No, it's just watching what you've done with the boys in the program. And I think part of it is, all all the trials you guys went through last year, you know, being able to go through that, but obviously knowing that you had a vision, you knew what you wanted on the team, and you knew you might have to make some short-term decisions that, you know, wouldn't help the win-loss column, but obviously it's worked out in spades. I mean, the effort on the field, the way the boys seem to play for each other, it reminds us a lot of how when you played. I'm sure you're starting to feel that too. You know, and even the defense. I mean, you know, we don't need to give up 10 points every game, you know, but you guys are finding a way to win. You guys are finding a way to win, and it's great to see. It's so much fun.
Well, I'm glad you enjoy it, Jason, and that is probably most of this credit needs to go to the families that raise these young boys, because everyone on our team right now is really trying to represent in the correct manner and do the right thing. They don't always do, but they are sure trying, and I really love being part of what they're building over there.
Yeah, it's great, and you know, I'd like to think it might take more than 1 year because you know Hawaii is really slow for change, but hopefully all these boys that are growing up right now playing ball, they're starting to remember what it was like when they were little kids, and you know, it'd be really good to have them come home, and you know, the best way to do that is to keep putting the product on the field. So, and then one other thing. BYU linebackers, are they the big tough linebackers again that probably aren't as good as pass coverage, or are we looking at the same type of team?
Actually, BYU's linebackers are smaller than we have seen in the past. Thanks for the call, Jason. We got to get to that last bit of business. Who's going to draw? Who are we going to have here to draw in the Pay It Forward? For the new people, we'll just let you know what this is. Started a couple of years ago. Rolo will will pull $100 out of his pocket, hand it to somebody with a request, not a demand, just a request that you find a way to pay it forward. And we have had some amazing stories of people who have made that grow for other people. Some of it's come back to the program. Others have helped. We've had other from unwed mothers. I mean, you name it.
A lot of good stuff has come
out of
these high chairs right here.
No question. Let's. Who's going to draw? AC, you want to come draw one? Come on. What the heck? Now shuffle them because I don't want to be attacked.
Dave, well, here comes Dave going to pick.
Dave's going to pick.
Dave.
Here you go.
Oh, he added 200 now.
Wow.
Dave Maeva.
Wow, that's going to come with some obligation.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah, you want to pick, Dave? Dave, come pick.
Go ahead and pick one, they say. Eloise Hamano. Where is Eloise Hamano? There she is. All right.
I believe that's a second-time winner right there. But how about Dave Maeva coming in and talk about a guy who loves Hawaii, loves Hawaii football, makes everybody smile when he's around.
Didn't have to ever think twice about what effort you were going to get from him when he was in a uniform. Good to have him. Good to see you, David, always. I run into him at the Artist Place, Sandy Beach. I never know where it's going to be, but always good to see him. I'm glad he's here. We got a lot of guys.
Back to the program.
Wow, okay, that 200 goes right into the football program. Thanks, Eloise. Appreciate it. Well, that's about it. We are out of time. And for those, if you're unable to get in front of a TV set, or even if you are, we will be bringing you the broadcast live from Provo. It's 4:15 Hawaii time. So we're going to be playing 8:15 in the mountains. You good with that?
Chilly, chilly, I heard.
It could be.
Yeah.
We'll make that the new Bud Light slogan. We'll go from dilly dilly to chilly chilly. I want to thank everybody who came down today. Fabulous. Thank you all. For Nick Rolovich, from all of us, I'm Bobby Curran. Aloha.
You've been listening to Call the Coach with Nick Rolovich, live from Ruby Tuesday in Moanalua, presented by Coors Light. Also, mahalo to No Foods of Hawaii. Say yes to no. The HGEA. We are HGEA Strong. City Mill. Big on help, big on savings. Proud to be local. Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union. Xanthicin, the safe anti-inflammatory for health and longevity. Available at GNC. POP Fishing and Marine. Gear. Glory. We got it on Pier 38. This has been another exclusive University of Hawaii sports presentation on ESPN 1420 and the